Hi guys, long time no see. I just wanted to pass by and talk a little bit and share what was going on in my life and what is going on in my life, what's happening. An informal chat because I feel like first of all there are people that follow me. Maybe it's just one or two persons, but I still feel like there is like people who have been there when I just started, so like 6 years ago. And even if it's like just one person who will watch this video and is still interested in what's going on, I'm still gonna be happy. And I mean, it's also like for me, so it's crazy. I have started YouTube like 6 years ago, a little bit more. A lot of things have happened like in the last year and in the 6 years, and it's, I don't know, it's insane. 6 years is a lot of time. Yeah, I just wanted to pass by and just kind of informally chit chat because I feel like I was paying way more attention to my Instagram and TikTok and creating content more like psychology related and more kind of from a educational point of view, which I really enjoy. But I also miss kind of just sit down and talk and share my thoughts about life and what has been going on and like my reflections on what has been going on. There has been a lot of like positive changes, but not really like, I mean, changes happen every day, so it's a process. And I think the first thing that I wanted to share, like, it sounds so atrocious, but I feel like I finally, like, my life finally makes sense to me. And it's not like I realized it just kind of as a divine intervention or like a light just shone on me, and I understood that my life has meaning. But I read it, like, honestly, I was on a meme page which I used to visit like before, and a lot of memes are kind of like my life was meaningless, I hate my everyday life, and I just do things over and over again, and it doesn't make any sense to me and stuff like that. And I realized that I used to relate to it and I don't relate to it anymore. And I'm like, wow, my life has meaning. Like, I noticed that several of people that I work with, also my clients, um started asking me like questions about that. So I got inspired to write like a short workbook or like a manual on identifying the purpose of life. Of course, it's not as easy as just like following some guidelines, but I feel like I am prepared to like give the theoretical background of it, and then the work that the person does is actually their responsibility, because of course you can identify kind of the inner fire that ignites you, but you may have so many things that stand in between you and that thing or that fire that makes you work, that makes you click, that it might kind of seem not approachable or not real or not achievable. And this is something that is the responsibility of each of us, to work through that and remove all these obstacles that are basically like in here mostly, and make it possible. Yeah, it sounds much easier than it actually is. But yeah, so I just wanted to share. I don't think that sharing my personal like understanding of the meaning of life or the purpose of my personal life will help anyone, because it is highly personal and individual. I think that it's very different from for each and every one of us. But yeah, I just can say that it's a really nice feeling to have, and I would describe it as kind of like feeling full on the inside, and not in the sense of that I'm like bursting of joy and every day is a party and stuff like that. Obviously, I do have like problems in my everyday. I still have conflicts. I still have challenges and growth areas and so on, and we will continue to have them throughout the entire life. But it's kind of like a baseline of knowing that whatever like life throws at you, you've got it. Like, you can deal with that, and knowing that you can self-regulate and even help others who are around you self-regulate or like regulate them in a way, and that you have like the techniques and the tools and the experience that you know that you have overcome this yourself and helped other people overcome this kind of stuff, and it just gives you a lot of kind of inner stability, because it's the only stability that we can actually have. And just kind of being excited, because in the end the meaning of life is living life. It's the process of making mistakes and learning and just implementing all of the senses and just enjoying. And for me, as a person whose drug of choice is information, so I just love stuffing myself with information, and it's high quality information, but it's way more than I need. When I feel anxious or whatever, I just start kind of stuffing all of my channels with like new information, podcast, books, YouTube videos, documentaries, whatever. And recently I feel like I don't want that, so it's more kind of like a habit that I have, and I choose not to do that and opt for silence or a live conversation or just listening to birds or some chill music or something like that, and not consume information all of the time. And I find it a very good sign, because that means that I'm enjoying my life so much that I don't need to escape from it somehow. I'm really enjoying studying and working as a psychological coach, as a mentor, and just working with people, helping them find themselves, the answers to the questions that they're looking for, with helping them with their issues and so on. And the feedback is great, and I'm just beyond happy for that, and excited, and never want to stop learning, which goes a little bit like contradictory to what I said before, but I find that it's different. Like if it's purposeful learning, it's one thing, but when it's just kind of like stuffing yourself with information for the sake of that is a bit different. So yeah, and yeah, I'm kind of just like really feeling myself and life and everything in general. And I realize I'm gonna turn 30 in a month and a little bit, which the society kind of teaches us to dread.
Why, God, why?
And try to kind of like avoid or fear or just pretend that it's not happening or something, because mostly I think people feel that all of a sudden they have a lot of responsibility, and you cannot pretend to not notice certain things anymore. And like sometimes it's pretty harsh when you have to take a lot of responsibility on yourself all of a sudden. But I think that, well, first of all, if you learn it in advance, so to say, so like if you don't dodge responsibility for what you need to take the responsibility for throughout your 20s, it's not going to be as harsh. And I feel like I only learned that kind of to balance that, so to say, in the last year. I have been living alone since I was 16. My parents did help me financially in the first years, but except for that, I was studying and I was completely on my own. And I kind of had to learn to be responsible since quite a young age. And then, like, when I was 21, I moved to another country, to Germany, where I am right now. And I was providing for myself, and I was studying, working, whatever, doing my PhD. And still I feel like I only learned to take like full responsibility for some things, emotional kind of stuff, only in the last couple of years, like when I started the really deep like self work that I've been doing and studying, and actually working with other people also kind of helps you see that in perspective. um, and yeah, another thing that I wanted to say is that taking on too much responsibility is as destructive as not taking responsibility. So if you take too much responsibility on yourself in one area, that means that you're judging some of the responsibility that is actually yours, and you're kind of stuffing up the balance between the responsibilities, and it's not helpful, because yeah, like you need to really figure out like which responsibility is yours and take it, and not take the one that is not yours. And learning the difference is a journey. It's not that easy. But yeah, I feel like I'm not saying that like I'm a guru that knows it all. Obviously, as I said, we all have a lot of like red zones, and I do have moments where I feel frustrated and stuff like that. But as I said, I kind of like know that I can self-regulate 100%. I can let other people help me regulate myself, which is also part of it, because it's healthy to be able to accept help from other people sometimes, but also like offer it to other people when they are ready to accept it, but not expect it from everyone. Like I can do it by myself. If you want to help me or like support me a little bit on the way, it's fine. But yeah, and or I can support you on the way as well, but like not lean completely. Sorry, there was a fight. Completely on the other person for like all of your emotional needs, because it's not fair for everyone, for anyone. Another thing that I wanted to touch upon is exactly that. I have been having days where I feel like my 100%, I feel happy, like in my body, in my life, in all of my relationships. In it sounds like I have like multiple. No, I mean like in all of the relationships that I have with people, but in my life, there are days that I just feel like on top of the mountain, and I learned not to get attached to it because I feel like in my 20s, I have gone through so many crises. Some of them were like literally borderline like life and death. Some of them were more kind of like me making a lot of drama out of things that were not really that life and death. But I have had like several really big crises. And I kind of feel like I learned to navigate that. So it's also kind of a trap to like stay in that because I was kind of relying on crisis for personal growth. And I think you can grow personally in a much more gentle way than I chose or I have been choosing to do that in the past. But of course, crises are inevitable, but also like being happy is also almost inevitable. So there will be moments where you're super happy, and there will be moments where you're kind of down low and you're going through like a tough patch. But yeah, so everything shall pass, or this too shall pass, is something that I just now realized that it's super important to like have it present in the good times and in the bad times. So even when you are really happy and you're feeling yourself and you're on the top of the world, kind of keeping it present that it's just a moment and tomorrow may be a shitty day and you might feel completely the opposite and so on, and not letting it ruin the experience for you. Because I feel like before I had this tendency of when I had an experience like that or a patch like that, that I was like feeling myself, it was summer and like everything just seems right, and I wanted to like make it last as much as possible and like never go away. And I now just start understanding that it's very important to let it like fully go through you, this experience, and not get attached to it as you do not get attached to your suffering. So either joy or suffering, you just kind of let it pass through you and you do not want to hold on to it for longer than necessary, because if you want to stay stagnant, it's a recipe for like disaster. Like stagnation basically is death. So yeah, I feel it's much harder somehow to learn to let go of the positive experiences and not getting attached to them, and just taking life as it is without kind of letting it ruin it. Because if it's not going to last forever, it doesn't mean that it didn't have any value. It gives it somehow even more value, because yeah, everything like this day will never repeat itself. And even if it's like a very wonderful day, you have to let it go. And if you will try to hold on to it and try to replicate it. Oh, by the way, the movie Meet Cutie, I think the one with Pete Davidson, where like the girl wanted to repeat the date and like make it perfect. Somehow I thought of it right now. It can lead to something like that if you saw the movie. If you didn't see it, go see it. It's recommendable. I don't know. I don't really watch many movies. Yeah, I think I'm done here. That was my update. Hope that you're all doing well. Please go check out my Instagram. I'm trying to devote a lot of my time to it, and it's very frustrating because I have very few subscribers there. So if you don't follow me there, please go follow me. I will link it down below. And have a nice day, night, evening, morning, weekend, wherever you are. Hopefully see you soon. And